Imagine waking up one morning to realize that nearly every advanced technology you rely on, from your smartphone to fighter jets, depends on a handful of elements that you no longer have access to. That's exactly the scenario unfolding right now between China and the West. Because Beijing has just pulled the lever on one of its most powerful economic weapons, rare earth export bans. Now, this isn't just another headline in the endless US-China rivalry. This one cuts straight into the backbone of modern industry, and frankly, into the West's ability to compete, innovate, and even defend itself. If you're finding this topic as fascinating and as concerning as I do, don't forget to like this video and share it so more people can understand how something as obscure as rare earths could reshape global power. Let's start with what's happening. Recently, China announced new rules effectively cutting off the West, particularly the United States, from critical rare earth processing technologies. And here's the key. This ban isn't about the raw minerals themselves. It's about the know-how, the machinery, the processing methods, and even the Chinese engineers who've been quietly running much of the world's rare earth operations for decades. In other words, China hasn't just locked the doors, it's thrown away the keys. For 30 years, Beijing invested relentlessly in this sector. Meanwhile, Western nations, chasing cheaper labor and higher profits, let their industries fade. They outsourced everything: the production lines, the technical manuals, even the engineers. And now, as China slams the export gate shut, the US and Europe are left scrambling. Jack Lifton, one of the leading experts on rare earths, summed it up perfectly. The West talks about reshoring and rebuilding, but talk doesn't make magnets. And that's really the point. Because these rare earths aren't just about smartphones and electric cars, they're in missile guidance systems, radar, drones, satellites, and advanced fighter jets. If you can't produce them, you can't maintain your defense technology. That's a vulnerability that no superpower can afford. Here's where it gets political. According to Lifton, this whole situation started brewing after a rather symbolic moment, when former US President Donald Trump decided to skip a planned meeting with China's Xi Jinping in Korea. Why? Because Trump didn't want to be embarrassed. At that time, China was already dominating the rare earth market, and the US simply had no leverage. Xi, on the other hand, held all the cards. And it's not just about who shakes hands with whom. It's about the deeper realization that China's dominance isn't a coincidence. It's a result of long-term planning. While the West was outsourcing, China was nation-building, building capacity, expertise, and control. Now, here's the part that really highlights how deep this dependence goes. For the last 2 decades, any Western company that wanted to process rare earths, whether in the US, the UK, or even Europe, had to rely on Chinese equipment, manuals, and engineers. China supplied not just the materials, but the entire industrial DNA of the process. And under these new rules, it's now illegal for Chinese citizens or companies to help foreign firms in any rare earth-related project. That means no consulting, no machinery exports, no technology transfers, nothing. So when Western policymakers say, "We'll just rebuild it here," Lifton's answer is brutally honest. With what? With whose machines? With whose engineers? Now, let's zoom out a bit because this isn't happening in isolation. Remember how the US restricted chip exports to China last year, citing national security concerns? Well, this is Beijing's counterpunch. As Lifton puts it, what's sauce for the goose is sauce for the gander. And this tit-for-tat escalation has now spread from semiconductors to the very elements that power everything, from EV motors to missile systems. It's no exaggeration to say this could mark the beginning of a resource Cold War. If you're still watching, let me know in the comments. Do you think the West can realistically rebuild its rare earth industries from scratch? Or has China's 30-year head start made that impossible? I'm really curious how you see this playing out, so drop your thoughts below. Now, let's talk about the illusion of reshoring. We've heard politicians announce billion-dollar initiatives, new plants, and grand strategies to bring critical mineral industries back home. But according to Lifton, it's mostly rhetoric. No one is actually asking, how do you do it? Who builds the machines? Where do the engineers come from? In the West, the expertise is gone. The older generation of metallurgists and material scientists has retired. And even if you start training a new generation now, it takes years, sometimes decades, to build that kind of deep industrial knowledge. Lifton estimates it would take 5 to 10 years minimum for the US or Europe to meaningfully rebuild rare earth processing capacity. And that's assuming steady investment, political will, and, let's be honest, no bureaucratic delays. Now, back to the politics. When Trump avoided that meeting with Xi, Lifton believes it was all about optics. Trump didn't want to appear weak in front of a leader who literally controls the supply of materials the US military depends on. But that decision, skipping a photo op, has become symbolic of a larger truth. The US government still doesn't have a coherent strategy for this issue. Departments like Defense, Energy, Commerce, they've all been told, bring the rare earth industry back. But no one has outlined how. There's no blueprint, no step-by-step plan, no clear leadership. It's like telling a team to build a jet engine when all they've ever made are bicycles. Meanwhile, Xi sits comfortably. China's rare earth exports to the US represent only about 5% of its total output. So even if Beijing loses that market, it's a small price to pay. And through the Belt and Road Initiative, China has already opened up massive alternative markets across Asia, Africa, and the Middle East. In short, China doesn't need the US as much as the US needs China. And Xi knows it. Now, let's look at the bigger picture. The actual rare earths under the new export restrictions. China recently added 5 more elements to its export ban list. Here's a quick rundown. Holmium, essential for making high-strength magnets. Erbium, crucial in fiber optics and telecommunications. Thulium, rare and not well understood, but with niche military and electronic uses. Europium, used in screens, lighting, and classified defense tech. Terbium, another critical magnet material for electronics and green tech. Each one may sound obscure, but together they form the invisible skeleton of our modern world. And now, with a stroke of a pen, China can decide who gets them, and who doesn't. So where does the West go from here? To be clear, there's no overnight fix. The West will need a comprehensive strategy, one that goes far beyond press releases and slogans. It needs real industrial policy, heavy investment in research and development, especially materials science, training a new generation of skilled workers and metallurgists, rebuilding processing infrastructure at home, not just mining raw ores, and collaborating with allies like Japan, Korea, and Australia, who at least have partial capabilities. This isn't just about economics anymore. It's about strategic independence, the ability to innovate, defend, and grow without depending on a rival superpower. But here's the uncomfortable truth. While the West is still debating and drafting reports, China is already moving to the next phase, creating new markets, new supply chains, and new alliances through its Belt and Road partners. By the time the West catches up, Beijing may have already locked in the future. As we close, it's worth remembering that this rare earth conflict isn't just a trade dispute. It's a struggle for technological and geopolitical supremacy in the 21st century. Jack Lifton's analysis is sobering. The West can't tweet or talk its way out of this. It needs action. Deliberate, coordinated, and long-term action. Because in the race for rare earths, whoever controls the materials controls the future. If you found this discussion insightful, make sure to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you don't miss our next deep dive into the shifting landscape of global trade and power. Thanks for watching, and as always, stay curious, stay informed, and I'll see you in the next one.